So I'm here with Kaya Lyons from Active OT for Kids in Bondi. She's our May OT brunch guest speaker, sharing on sensory integration in a nature-based setting for OT. And she's just come on this afternoon to answer a few questions and join us for a chat and get us ready for her brunch. So I'm going to start, if that's right with you, Kaya, and get ready.
Absolutely delighted to be here.
So good. Thank you for coming on. So the first question is, there's a lot of buzz at the moment around, using nature in OT and outdoor therapy. And so a lot of therapists are naturally jumping onto that as an extra service to deliver. I just wanted, if you could share what outdoor therapy and nature-based therapy means to you.
Yeah, I think it's so wonderful that so many people are becoming interested in the therapeutic use of nature. To me, what nature means, I was super blessed when I was young, traveling around the country for a whole year of my life in a caravan with my mum and my family. And it's like coming home. And when we talk about supporting children with disabilities and trauma, a safe place is the place to start. And if that safe place can be nature, which is found all around us, then isn't that a wonderful thing that a child can visit a safe place no matter where they are in the world?
Yeah,
that's what it means to me.
Such a beautiful response and unexpected. I wasn't sure you're going to go there, so that's really beautiful. Thank you. So obviously nature is naturally therapeutic. It's been used, as we talk about all the time, for centuries, for healing and for therapeutic reasons. But from a therapy perspective, what's the difference between spending time in nature, because it is naturally therapeutic, and using therapy, using nature as therapy, I guess in our case, occupational therapy?
Yeah, nature is therapeutic in its wonderful connection. We are nature. And when I think of it in terms of extending it into a therapeutic use, it's about your clinical reasoning and being able to continue to monitor the changes that you're seeing in an individual and relating that to the goal that you have as a therapist, so that you're making those hypotheses and you're testing that hypothesis whilst you're interacting and engaging. And that's what we do as therapists, is set those goals and really work towards those goals in a fluent way. So you take that into every single setting and every single practice as a therapist. It's no different.
So going back to that clinical reasoning, and which is what, like you said, what we would do in any context that we're in, whether it's school or the clinic, or in this case, nature.
What's happening to that individual, and are we seeing the meaningful change that we anticipate?
Yeah. So it's a special one for you, I think, because Camp Reset's obviously so important. And for those who aren't familiar with Camp Reset, Kaya designed and facilitates a camp for children with trauma. I hope I haven't minimized that, Kaya, just to keep this brief. And so I guess the philosophy of Camp Reset is embedded in nature settings. Are you able to share a story, a camp story, where you've seen that therapeutic use of nature and seen a shift, or just something special from camp in that context of nature-based, I guess?
Yeah, I think, there's so many.
I see this on the theme that smiled.
There is so many little magical moments, but I think one of the moments that really comes to mind right now is we often try and web not just nature experiences, but also link them to our felt experiences in our body and our felt experiences in our emotions. And we weave that through storytelling and through every moment within the camp. And at the end of the camp, one year we did a walk up to a place where there's a cove, and the ocean force has sort of wedged its way through the cove, and the water, depending on the tide, it pushes through that cove and it surges, and then it surges out. And we stood there for a moment, and this individual child took a big breath and said, wow, that ocean is just like a breath, coming in and going out. And it's helping me to find the rhythm to slow down and calm. And yeah, I get really teary even thinking about it. You know, it's when that connection happens, not just for a moment or an experience, but when it's truly embodied like that, that's when you know that that individual can take that into their life and has felt it and connected to it at its core.
Oh, such a special memory. And I could tell when I asked that question, you was like, oh yeah, I got the story.
Yeah. I remember at the beginning of our camp, we sort of have always spoken about, wow, we should be writing some of these little magical moments down, because it's just wonderful. It is truly our work, and what we are gifted when we support these individuals is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it's really special. So I have one final question before, and the sun has literally set according to the weather app 8 minutes ago. So feeling really, you can actually really feel that change, which I guess is in our brunch around the natural flows of rhythm and how that works. But I don't know, because you're obviously outside too, but I just felt it. You hear different sounds, and you can just get, anyway, like I said, we'll get into that a little bit in our brunch. But my last question is, if have you got any, I guess, things to be mindful of, not necessarily contraindications, but just things to be mindful of if you are considering I guess taking that step into nature-based therapy as an occupational therapist. What sort of things would you be mindful of if that's where you were heading?
Yeah, I think that there's a few things just to consider. The big things for me is being culturally respected. These explorations that we're doing in nature and using as a therapeutic tool has been done for thousands and thousands and thousands of years culturally. And I think that it's important that we acknowledge that we ask for permission and respect the cultural guidelines when that is required. So that's a really big, important one for me. And if you don't know, ask, so that you know before you tread on land. And that's what country is about. It's about being a custodian of the land. So on that, the second thing would be that tread softly on the land and use nature not as a tool just to take from, but give back. It's about give and take, and always providing support, just like nature supports us. So that would be another thing that I would really be considerate of. The third thing is about its therapy. So we can definitely encourage more people to go out and engage, and it will have a therapeutic benefit to it. But when we are doing therapy, consider the goals and make the hypothesis, and make sure that we're clinically reasoning and still following our documentation and all of our obligations as an occupational therapist for best practice. And the fourth thing for me is, making sure that you feel confident and have considered the risks and things like that are a part of engaging in nature. So that we keep everyone safe.
It's a really good point, I guess, because obviously the ocean is a really big piece of my life, and I think to myself, if I didn't feel that confident and didn't have that understanding of the ocean and how the ocean works, that would be a really dangerous place to be just heading on out with some kids. So that's a really valid point that I probably didn't even consider to speak about. So.
And it's not just considering it for your own safety, right? So I have a different level of ability than potentially somebody else does. So it's also then considering your own risks, and then considering the risks and how that changes for another individual that's under your care.
Perfect. That's a really good point. And I think we'll probably end there and finish up for now. But so excited to have you come in next month. It's this brunch is so close to the last brunch, so I feel like I'm just in brunch mode. But looking forward to it. It'll be a nice, just a different one, I guess, to what we've had before. And just so excited to have you come in.
Lee, I've logged on to some of your brunches, and what you're doing is absolutely incredible. And I think that it's so humbling to be a part of something so unique that really brings a community of therapists who all want to do and support in their best possible way. So, let's come together on this brunch and really share and feel inspired. And it's amazing what you're doing. And thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. And thank you for inspiring us. I'm looking forward to it.
No, pleasure. We'll see you soon.
See ya. Bye.